You also said that you're a business owner, you're a relatively high earner, you're a very driven person, so finding a man who can match and ideally top that, who's also interested in monogamy, isn't easy. So you're a business owner, you say you're a relatively high earner. I don't know if you want to give us a range in terms of income?
Sure.
I'm assuming it's six figures.
Yeah, I mean, there have been years where we've brought in $500,000. Yeah.
Well, in revenue or in profit?
Profit.
Okay. Who's we?
Me.
Oh, okay.
I'm a corporation, so.
Oh, okay.
Like,
All
yeah.
right. Do you have partners, or is it?
No.
What's your business?
For privacy reasons, I'd rather not say, just because someone
Maybe
could easily.
don't say the name, but is it?
Let's
you
just
selling?
say marketing, like marketing
Okay.
consulting. Yeah.
All right.
It's just, yeah.
So you're making mid to or low to mid six figures, in that range?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You said you've had to teach yourself what it means to be feminine and follow not for the right man, but in general. And you're learning how to become the kind of woman that the kind of man I'm looking for would see it worthwhile to commit to. Required a lot of change and self-reflection on your part. So how were you before, and what did you change?
Just kind of, I think, unaware of myself in a lot of ways, in ways that I was not really appearing masculine physically, but kind of acting very masculine, if that makes sense.
Was this before or after the tattoos?
Oh, this was way before. Yeah.
Before you got tattoos? Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's interesting to me. You said, I mean, you're 38 now, and you had no tattoos, and then was it 34, 35?
35, and you're right, that's
just-
a good point. It was a very, kind of, I don't want to say a limiting choice, but in some ways a limiting choice for sure. But a concession that I pretty consciously chose to make.
What's the concession?
I think that it limits your dating pool. I think there's a lot of associations with women who have tattoos, which I totally understand.
So then why did you opt to get the tattoos?
Because I think that I got a very clear idea of my values
Show
and
us
who
the
I was.
double-
little
the
Viking
double-
sleeves.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there are a lot of other ways aside from just how you look physically that you can embody feminine energy as a woman, in the sense of letting a man lead, really learning to defer in that way and fully trust someone. And I think a lot of that has to do with doing work on yourself and has absolutely very little to do with tattoos. But I am aware of how that can come across visually. But I think that just seeing the kind of people that I am attracting into my life now professionally as friends, it's been a real indicator that I'm on the right path to getting to where I'm going. And
Right.
the tattoos, I would not say have affected that in a negative way.
Now, you said your 7-year relationship ended 4 years ago, and you've been single for 4 years. In fact, you've stated that you've been celibate for that entire 4-year period, but you are an attractive woman. So, I mean, I'm imagining that there are men who have demonstrated an interest in you. Do you feel as if your standards are too high?
Thank you.
Or
That's
maybe.
possible. I think it's that's always possible, right? Like that we're expecting something that's more than maybe what we're worthy of. But I also think a big factor of that is I was kind of a serial monogamist from the time I was like 19, 20 onwards. I was always in like a long-term committed relationship.
Right.
And I had never really taken the time since I was younger and I lost my virginity to really, it sounds really cliche, but actually just be by myself and like learn to not like need a partner romantically. And taking the time to do that in my 30s the last couple years, I don't think it's so much that I'm like seeking these men and then being rejected so much. It's more that like I'm not in a rush to get into something where the person doesn't have the values that I'm looking for. It's not really so much about like this guy needs to be 6'2" and making $1 million and like that really doesn't matter to me so much. It's more just like I'm looking for a very specific set of values and I'm not willing to compromise on those values. And because I embody those values, I don't feel like I'm shooting too high, and I hope that makes sense. So
Yeah,
it's
those
more
are good
about
standards to have.
it's more about integrity. It's less like the guy needs to be like rich and really hot. Like that would be nice, but it's actually a different set of things that I'm looking for at this point in my life.
But
So.
in your pre-show notes, you said that you're a business owner, relatively high earner. We talked about that. You're a very driven person. So finding a man who can match and ideally top that, who's also interested in monogamy, so that does speak to the values thing.
Yes.
But it does seem like you do at the very least want a guy, would you say you want a guy who, in terms of his income, makes as much or more than you?
The woman in me does, but I understand too that that might not be realistically possible for me, especially at 38, right? Like, because a lot of those men are statistically going to be going for younger women, which I totally respect, and that's their preference, and it makes perfect sense to me. But would it be nice if I met someone who matched that drive? And when I say
Right.
drive, I don't necessarily just mean financial drive. As long as they can support themselves and they're like stable, it's more drive and they're ambitious, right? And how ambitious they are and their tenacity,
Sure.
and also just having a vision for
Okay.
their life. That's important to me.
All right, got it.